pretty early in the morning, and yeah, I'm tired, but anyway, got the microphone a bit closer, because you don't need to see anything anyway. Just look at these weird abstract shapes. Yeah, I thought I'd talk about nihilism this time. Or at least try to. Actually, let's look it up on Wikipedia. Nihilism. Philosophical doctrine suggesting negation of one or more pure. I have no idea how that's pronounced. Meaningful aspects of life. Most commonly, nihilism is presented in the form of existential nihilism, which argues that life is without objective meaning, purpose, or intrinsic value. Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, I think that's pretty obvious, at least for every atheist, that life is doesn't have a purpose, doesn't have an intrinsic value or an objective meaning. Okay, then there's so yeah, according to that, I'm a nihilist, because, you know, it's weird that I'm like at the same time these pro-natalists or pro-choice whatever they are calling anti-natalists nihilists, and at the same time I'm arguing with real nihilists. So yeah, it's like so yeah, there's also moral nihilists. Assert that morality does not inherently exist and that any established moral values are abstractly contrived. Well, I guess that's pretty obvious too. I mean, morality is just a concept that we've created. It's not a law of nature or anything. I mean, obviously, I mean, look at what's happening outside in the nature. I mean, it's not very moral behavior. Sure, we have some genes and some stuff in our brains that caused us to create this mechanism, but you know, and it was for selfish reasons anyway. So, but anyway, moving on. Epistemological nihilism. I have no idea what that is. Well, who cares? No, basically, this is the thing. I've talked with a moral nihilist recently, and even though the criteria of a nihilist is pretty vague, I mean, according to those standards, even I am a moral nihilist. And an existential nihilist. I mean, pretty much every atheist is an existential nihilist, but like, how can I? Yeah, but anyway, those people that I consider to be moral nihilists are these people who are saying that nothing. I mean, for me at least, saying that life doesn't have an objective purpose doesn't mean that nothing matters. I mean, I just don't draw that conclusion. Or that morality is just a concept that we've created doesn't just lead to the conclusion that you can do whatever you want. I mean, and that's, you know, the subjectivist, relativist, whatever crap leads to the exact same conclusion. You can do whatever you want, basically, and I just think that's totally unsustainable philosophy. And but yeah, I've tried to, you know, find a really logical and solid rebuttal to those, like, well, what it comes down to with me is that I just can't ignore all the shit that's happening and say that, you know, it doesn't matter. I can do whatever the fuck I want. I don't have the arrogance to be able to, just say that, yeah, I know how this shit works and I'm willing to take this horrible risk that, if I'm wrong, then I'm not doing anything, I'm just making it worse. And if I'm right, then, But yeah, I just don't have the arrogance to say that, yeah, I know for sure that everything you're going through doesn't matter and I can do whatever the fuck I want. Secondly, in the civilization, as we know, it would get destroyed if everyone thought like that, but yeah. And obviously it's just an asshole behavior, but yeah, I had some more logical ones, but those were the ones that just came into my mind. Let me think. Well, basically what I'm looking for is this thing keeps coming up that, it always just gets reduced into, it doesn't matter because it's not an objective morality or whatever. Well, how I see morality is basically, or ethics is basically this, that yeah, it's something we've created, but objective morality to me doesn't mean that it's from a god, it means that it's the same for everyone. And I think that's the most logical conclusion. You can't just have people and who are basically the same and have different morals for every person based on their own preferences, because that's just retarded, or based on some other very ambiguous moral or some weird standard. So yeah, to me, objective morality means that it's the same for everyone, and that's, even though it doesn't come from a god, it comes from a logical, or yeah, because the golden rule is a pretty fucking logical thing. I mean, sure, it is logical if you want to be an exploitative asshole, then I suppose you could be just like everything from me now and fuck you, but obviously, if you're thinking about civilization, it would be better if everyone was just more altruistic and utilitarian, but I don't know. I had something to say, but I've kind of lost it now. Well, yeah, I'm just looking at, or looking for this, because the burden of proof is on me, basically, to say that why should people, or maybe it's not actually, why should people care about each other? Maybe it's not, it's like, because I'm not actually saying that. Actually no. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's actually not on me, the burden of proof. Burden of proof is on the nihilist who's saying that I can do whatever the fuck I want, no matter what the consequences. Because that's a positive claim, and I can just say that. I call that bullshit. And then they have to come up with a reason, and I suppose that the reason would be that nothing matters. Well, yeah, how do we go from there? It's such a vague statement, and all this objective meaning and stuff. I mean, I've never even expected to find an objective meaning in the universe. That's just impossible. And even if we did find a god, then what would that change? It wouldn't be an objective standard. It would just be his opinion. So this objective standard it's an impossible concept. So I don't know. At least basically how I derive my values in the universe is basically this. I mean, there's all this shit around us, all this space and rocks and stuff and gases and chemicals, which are basically just worthless. I mean, this is nothing. And then there's sentient creatures, which are basically just these other stuff that's taken a different form. And I say that we are different in a meaningful way from this other stuff. I mean, yeah, sure, this space and shit, it's totally worthless. And we are essentially also worthless, but our welfare has meaning, yeah, and suffering has negative value because it affects us. I don't know this thing about suffering being bad even if there's no one to experience it, and the pleasure being good even without experiencing people. I don't see that. But anyway. So yeah, basically life doesn't have an intrinsic value, but our welfare has. But why? That's what I kind of have to prove here, and I'm not sure I can articulate a very solid proof for that. I mean, one thing is that these nihilists who are saying that I can do whatever the fuck I want, yeah, well, it's obviously just an excuse, but this one person was just saying that, you know, if I was in Africa and I was poor and I was starving, I wouldn't complain, I would just have to get used to it. Like, fuck that, I don't fucking believe you, seriously. I mean, I don't fucking believe you. That's, or like, if someone shot me in the face, I wouldn't complain, because that's just the way of things. I mean, yeah, fuck you, I just don't believe that, and like, you wouldn't care, because these people don't act like that. This one person just started whining for hours for some insult that I threw at him. So it's like, if you can't handle an insult, I doubt you can handle starvation. So yeah, it's just an obvious excuse. I mean, maybe if you were just like a totally if you were just a proper emo and didn't even come to school and just stayed home and just didn't eat, did nothing, and just slowly rotted away, then I would believe you. But you know, if your own welfare matters to you, and you know, sure, they'll say that it doesn't, but it's clear that it does. So yeah, if your own welfare matters to you, I mean, I just can't see any logical way of escaping the fact that everyone else is just like you, and their welfare matters also. And yeah, then he's gonna say that, yeah, it matters to them, but it doesn't matter to me, so it's blah 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 blah. Fuck that shit. But yeah, if someone could come up with a really articulate and solid rebuttal to this kind of nihilism, then yeah, it would be very useful. Even though people are calling us nihilists, and I just find that preposterous. But yeah, and yeah, Gloom Doom Boom's channel got suspended. Fuck. He's now on the Suffering Sucks channel. Yeah. Suffering does suck indeed. But yeah, bye bye.